Most people think wealth is loud. They think money announces itself before someone even speaks. A luxury car? A designer watch? A penthouse view posted online every weekend. Somewhere along the way, society quietly trained people to believe that rich people should always look rich. That if someone has real money, they must prove it every single day. But the strange truth is this: many of the people who look wealthy are financially stressed, while many of the people who are truly wealthy look almost invisible. The problem is that most people are looking at money backwards. They judge wealth by what they can see, even though real wealth is usually hidden. A person can finance a car they cannot afford, rent a lifestyle they cannot sustain, and wear brands they secretly pray nobody asks them the price of. Meanwhile, the quiet man drinking ordinary coffee in a faded hoodie may own apartment buildings, stocks, businesses, and enough freedom to never worry about rent again. But nobody notices him because he is not trying to be noticed. There was once a journalist who spent years interviewing millionaires across America. Before the interviews began, he expected to meet flashy people living glamorous lives. He imagined marble floors, exotic cars, expensive suits, and constant luxury. Instead, he kept meeting ordinary-looking people: teachers turned investors, small business owners, couples driving 10-year-old cars, men wearing cheap watches, women carrying simple handbags. Some even looked poorer than the people working for them. At first, it confused him. Then he realized something powerful. Real wealth often hides itself because it has nothing to prove. And that is the dangerous illusion trapping millions of people today. Social media has made appearances feel more important than ownership. Everyone wants to look rich before they become rich. People are spending money they do not have to impress people who are also pretending. Entire lifestyles are built on debt, pressure, and performance. But real millionaires play a completely different game. They think differently. They move differently. They value freedom more than attention. And once you understand why real millionaires often look broke, your entire understanding of money begins to change. The richest people often spend like nobody is watching. One of the biggest misconceptions about wealth is that rich people constantly upgrade everything around them. In reality, many self-made millionaires become wealthy because they resist the urge to upgrade too quickly. While the world celebrates spending, they quietly master restraint. There is a reason many millionaires still drive ordinary cars. They understand something most people ignore. Expensive things are not just expensive to buy. They are expensive to maintain emotionally, mentally, and financially. A luxury lifestyle creates pressure. Once people become addicted to looking successful, they start making decisions based on image instead of logic. Think about this carefully. A person earning a modest salary might spend almost all of it trying to appear successful. New phone every year, designer clothes, constant dining out, car loan, vacation debt. But a millionaire may continue living below their means because they understand that every unnecessary expense steals future freedom. Real millionaires often ask themselves one simple question before buying something: will this improve my life or just improve how people see me? That single question changes everything. There was a man who built a multi-million-dollar logistics company over 20 years. His employees assumed he was middle class because he dressed simply and parked an old pickup truck outside the office every day. One afternoon, a young worker asked him why he never bought a luxury car despite clearly being able to afford one. The man smiled and said something unforgettable: "I became rich by not acting rich." That sentence explains more about wealth than most financial books. Many people think becoming rich is about increasing income, but often, wealth grows faster through controlling lifestyle inflation. Every time income rises, society pressures people to immediately upgrade their life. Bigger apartment, better car, more expensive habits. The tragedy is that many people earn more money without ever becoming wealthier. because their spending rises faster than their assets. Millionaires understand delayed gratification at a level most people never practice. They are willing to look ordinary today so they can become financially unstoppable tomorrow. They understand that discipline compounds. Small, smart decisions repeated for years create enormous financial distance between people. The scary part is that society punishes this behavior socially. If someone suddenly starts earning more money but still dresses modestly, people assume they are struggling. Friends may even mock them. But real wealth is not built through applause. It is built through invisible decisions nobody celebrates in the moment. And that is why many real millionaires appear boring from the outside. They are not trying to win a fashion competition. They are trying to buy time, freedom, ownership, peace, and options. Those things matter more than attention. Fake wealth is loud because it needs validation. One reason people misunderstand wealth is because fake wealth is designed to be seen. Real wealth does not need an audience, but financial insecurity often does. Many people are not buying things because they truly love them. They are buying symbols, symbols of status, symbols of importance, symbols that say, "Look at me. I matter." The danger is that this creates a cycle where identity becomes attached to spending. That is why some people panic when they cannot maintain appearances. The expensive lifestyle becomes emotional armor. Without it, they feel exposed. This is why you sometimes see people earning average incomes, but carrying luxury items everywhere. The purchase was not financial, it was psychological. The modern world rewards visible success more than invisible stability. Nobody posts emergency savings online. Nobody brags about staying debt-free. Nobody uploads videos celebrating disciplined investing, but everyone notices flashy consumption. So people naturally begin chasing what gets attention. A young man once got his first high-paying job and immediately financed a luxury car. For a few weeks, he felt powerful. People complimented him. Friends admired him. Social media engagement increased, but behind the scenes, the monthly payments suffocated him. He became trapped in a cycle of stress just to maintain an image that impressed strangers for a few seconds. Years later, he admitted something painful. He did not buy the car because he loved it. He bought it because he feared looking unsuccessful. That fear controls more financial decisions than people realize. Real millionaires eventually stop caring about external validation because they understand something important. Attention is expensive. The more people try to look rich, the more financially vulnerable they often become. Some people are performing wealth while secretly drowning in anxiety. Meanwhile, true wealth operates quietly. Quiet investments, quiet ownership, quiet growth, quiet freedom. There is a strange irony in modern culture. The people most desperate to appear rich are often the farthest from financial freedom. And the people closest to true financial freedom often look surprisingly normal. Why? Because once someone truly understands money, they stop using it for performance. They start using it strategically. Instead of asking, "How can I impress people?" they ask, "How can I create a life that gives me control over my future?" That shift changes everything. Real millionaires buy assets, not applause. Most people spend their money on things that lose value. Real millionaires spend their money on things that produce value. This is one of the biggest hidden differences between the middle-class mindset and the wealthy mindset. One side spends money to look successful. The other spends money to build systems that eventually make appearances irrelevant. A person may spend years saving for a luxury item that begins depreciating immediately after purchase. Meanwhile, a millionaire may use that same money to buy shares, property, equipment, or businesses that continue generating income for years. The wealthy understand that money is like an employee. Every dollar should have a job. If money is only being used for entertainment and appearance, it eventually disappears. But if money is used to acquire assets, it begins reproducing itself. That is why many millionaires live far below what they can technically afford. They are prioritizing ownership over appearance. There's a story about a janitor who shocked his entire community after his death. For decades, he lived quietly, worked consistently, avoided flashy spending, and invested steadily. People assumed he was poor because he lived simply. But when he passed away, it was discovered that he had accumulated millions through disciplined investing. Nobody saw the wealth because he never performed it. This completely contradicts what society teaches. People are conditioned to believe wealth should always be visible. But true wealth often grows silently for years before anyone notices. Millionaires also understand that financial freedom matters more than temporary excitement. Many luxury purchases create short emotional highs but long-term financial pressure. Assets do the opposite. They may feel boring initially, but over time they create freedom, options, and peace. And peace is one of the greatest luxuries wealth can buy. Imagine sleeping without fear of unpaid bills. Imagine having enough investments that you are not trapped in a job you hate. Imagine having choices while others are forced into survival decisions. That kind of freedom rarely comes from showing off. It comes from strategic ownership. The wealthy think long-term. They understand that small investments repeated consistently can eventually outperform years of performative spending. While others chase instant validation, millionaires quietly accumulate leverage. That is why some rich people look cheap to outsiders. They are not cheap. They are focused. They understand the difference between looking wealthy and becoming wealthy, and the gap between those two paths becomes enormous over time. The wealthiest people protect their freedom more than their image. There comes a point where financially intelligent people begin valuing simplicity more than status, not because they lack ambition, but because they understand what complexity costs. Many millionaires intentionally avoid lifestyles that trap them in endless financial obligations. They know that every major expense creates pressure. Bigger house, bigger maintenance, luxury car, bigger insurance, flashy lifestyle, bigger expectations. Eventually, people become servants to the image they created. Real wealth is not about owning the most things. It is about needing fewer things to feel secure. That is why many wealthy people become extremely protective of their peace. They avoid unnecessary financial stress. They avoid showing off online. They avoid competing with strangers. They understand that comparison destroys contentment faster than almost anything else. One entrepreneur sold his company for millions, yet continued living in the same modest neighborhood for years. Friends kept asking why he never moved into a mansion. His answer was simple: I already have what I wanted, freedom. That answer reveals something most people never realize. Money is not the final goal. Freedom is the ability to choose how to spend your time, the ability to say no, the ability to walk away from toxic environments, the ability to help family without panic, the ability to rest without fear. Many people chase visible luxury without realizing that the richest feeling in the world is control over your own life. And ironically, protecting that freedom often requires ignoring social pressure. Because society constantly encourages consumption. Buy more, upgrade more, display more. But millionaires who stay wealthy understand that every unnecessary financial commitment reduces flexibility. This is why financially wise people often appear calmer. They are not constantly trying to prove themselves. They are building lives that feel stable internally, not impressive externally. There is a quiet confidence that comes from real financial security. It does not scream. It does not compete. It does not beg for validation. It simply exists. And that quiet confidence often looks invisible to people who only recognize loud success. Most people are chasing the look of wealth instead of the reality of it. Perhaps the biggest financial mistake people make is confusing consumption with success. Society teaches people to admire outcomes without understanding the sacrifices behind them. They see luxury, but ignore debt. They see vacations, but ignore stress. They see appearance, but ignore reality. Real millionaires understand that wealth is not built through constant visibility. It is built through patience, discipline, emotional control, and long-term thinking. The truth is, many wealthy people intentionally avoid looking rich because they know appearances attract pressure, expectations, envy, and distractions. Some even prefer anonymity because it allows them to focus without noise. Meanwhile, many people who look wealthy are financially fragile, one emergency away from collapse, one missed paycheck away from panic, one bad month away from debt problems. But because society rewards appearances, people continue copying visible lifestyles instead of invisible habits. This is why financial education matters so much. Once you understand how wealth actually works, your priorities begin changing. You stop trying to impress strangers and start trying to build stability. You stop chasing symbols and start chasing ownership. You stop spending emotionally and start thinking strategically. And perhaps the most powerful realization is this: the goal is not to look rich. The goal is to become free. Because the person who owns their time is wealthier than the person who only owns luxury items. The person with peace is wealthier than the person constantly performing success. The person with investments, discipline, and patience is wealthier than the person drowning in financial pressure for appearances. Real millionaires understand this deeply. That is why many of them look ordinary. Not because they lack money, but because they no longer need money to speak for them. And maybe that is the biggest lesson of all. True wealth becomes quiet when it is real. Because when someone is genuinely financially secure, they stop needing the world to constantly confirm it.